What is up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of It's Called Football on the Vendetta Sports Media YouTube channel. It's been a little while, a few weeks since Jackson and I have been around. I've been busy traveling, but now we're back in business. And it was just the international break, so we have no Premier League football to talk about this past weekend. We will be looking at some matches this upcoming weekend after we go and have a look at the World Cup qualifiers that have just taken place, because as we were just talking before the show started, we've seen quite a lot of interesting things going on.
Yes,
10 teams have qualified in this last international break. So we'll touch on all of those, touch on some teams that are looking like they might qualify, others that are kind of surprisingly not. Before we do that, Jackson, how are you doing on this Wednesday morning your time?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's raining outside, but it's about to be nothing but sunshine and rainbows here because we're back. We're back. It's been a little bit, but we're finally back, finally talking some footy, and we got Prem back this weekend as well.
Yes, we do. Yeah, and I think our little break came at the perfect time. It's always difficult when we don't have much Prem to talk about and don't know what to expect to the international break, but we know what we've seen now. And we'll start with the UEFA World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah.
And only one team has qualified from UEFA. That was England. They won 5-0 against Latvia the other day or yesterday in their World Cup qualifier. That gave them top of the group, secured first European team to qualify for the next World Cup next summer. Are you surprised at all by England just dominating the way they have?
No, not at all. I think if anyone was surprised, they would be fooling themselves, because when you look at the strength of the group, maybe an Albania or Serbia can give them some issues, but realistically, they should walk through that group. And that's exactly what they've done. 18 points from 6 games. It has been nothing but clean. They have conceded 0 goals and scored 18. I mean, that's comprehensive as it gets. I know everyone always freaks out, right? The English media, the English fans, they all freak out all the time. It's pretty hard to be upset about that. I mean, that's about as comprehensive as a qualifying campaign as you can have so far. You're already qualified, so now you can honestly use the final international window coming up. It's kind of like a friendly, you know? Now, you obviously want to win for pride, but that's every game. But you can now experiment a little bit if you're Tuchel, you know? Maybe get some guys back in. I know we were missing quite a few players on this English roster that you'd expect to be there. Ooh. So what does it look like going forward? Do we keep the same kind of group? Do we mix it in? The point is that England now has that capability to do that because they have absolutely dominated. And then it's an interesting battle for second place in that group to see if someone can advance to the playoffs. But England doesn't have to worry about that at all. They've been superb. There's no other way to say it. And I hate saying it because, always root for Albania or Serbia over England. They have looked really good.
Yeah, I mean, that brings up another point in this group. You mentioned the second place battle between Albania and Serbia. Both have played 6 matches. Albania has 1 point more with 11 to Serbia's 10. Comes after Albania went to Serbia and won 1-0. But both of these teams still have to play England in one of their last 2 matches. I think Serbia plays Latvia and Albania plays Andorra, I believe that's what. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Serbia plays Latvia, Albania plays Andorra. They both play England. So it's really going to come down to those other 2 matches.
Mm-hmm. And from an Albanian standpoint, they have a slight advantage because they're playing England at home.
Yeah.
Serbia's got to travel to England to play them. They'll be playing at Wembley. That's a completely different vibe. And again, we'll see how England approaches this. But England can, I hate to say this, but if they really wanted to, they could kind of pick and choose who they'd rather go through. Yeah. Field a stronger squad against this team and then maybe a weaker squad against this one. They could play God if they really wanted to in this group. And it's going to be interesting to see how both Albania and Serbia approach it, because 2 games left and you're trying to get that second place spot just to make it into the playoffs and still give yourself hope.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple other groups that look all but secured, in my opinion. Portugal looks pretty comfortable. They have 10 points, even though they did just draw with Hungary, thanks to a last-minute goal by the Hungarians to this past break. Hungary has 5 points. They both have 2 matches left. So as long as Portugal gets a win against Ireland or Armenia, which they really should, they will be through. No real questions asked there. But everything else is pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Group A, Germany, Slovakia, both tied with 9 points. Northern Ireland right behind with 6. Obviously, you'd expect Germany to make it through, but anything's possible. Kosovo in Group B is surprised. They have 7 points behind Switzerland's 10. I guess Group C is a two-way race. Denmark and Scotland have both played each other twice already, both with 10 points. I believe they have the same goal difference. Oh, no. Denmark has a far better goal difference.
Yeah, much superior.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting because they both just have to play Greece and Belarus.
Mm.
Who do you expect out of that one?
That one's tough. On paper, looking at historical trends, you got to say Denmark. But Scotland has been good in qualifying recently, both for the Euros and here. The team has improved a lot. Let's see, when they played each other.
It was 0-0 and then.
Yeah, 0-0. And they play each other in the final.
Oh, they do play again. Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. So it does all come down to that final day when they play in Glasgow.
If they both win and take care of business in that first match of the upcoming window, then they'll play each other for the right to go directly to the World Cup. And talk about some scenes there. Is it in? Where's it at?
It's in Scotland.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's at Rangers Park at Hampden Park in Glasgow.
Oh, that's probably the best place you can play it. Yeah. Holy shit, that's gonna be sick. That better be on TV. If not, people need to find a way to watch that.
Oh, 100%.
That will be absolutely electric.
And it can't be any worse than the first match these two teams played, which was a dire 0-0 draw. So expect both to be up there.
Oh, they're both gonna be flying for it too. I bet you, especially Scotland. Yeah. So
otherwise, what other groups have kind of excited you? Or are you looking at it like, oh wow, I'm surprised this team's there, or maybe there's some interesting final match week stuff?
I mean, again, go back to Group A. Shout out Slovakia and Northern Ireland and how they're putting the pressure on Germany. Still fully expect Germany to get through. They took care of Northern Ireland this break. Yeah. But I mean, they're getting pushed. They're getting pushed. So no, that's good to see. It'd be interesting to see how Slovakia approaches it because they're only 2 goal difference behind and tied on points. So very close there.
Luckily for Germany, they go to Luxembourg and then host Slovakia, whereas Slovakia play and host Northern Ireland and then has to go to Germany.
Yeah, and then Iceland got a 2-2 draw with France this window. Now that's probably not going to do anything, but it does give Ukraine some semblance of hope. Let's see. Spain's taking care of business in Group E. We already touched on Group F with Portugal looking like they have it wrapped up. Group G, so again, I'm Polish. Poland plays the Netherlands in the upcoming international window, but then you look at the goal difference here. Even if they win that game, there's just no way they can make up that kind of ground.
Yeah, I mean,
Netherlands has a plus 19 goal difference.
Yeah, that's what happens when you beat Malta 8-0.
Yeah, I mean, that right there is ridiculous. So
with that being said, Poland does play Malta still, so
I don't see them running it up enough to make up a 13 goal difference gap. Now, if they beat the Netherlands, it is in Poland. Yeah. I imagine it'll be by 1 goal. Yes. Just like that, you're going to have to beat Malta by probably more than 11 because I bet you the Netherlands wins in their final game as well.
Oh, 100%.
I just don't see any way, shape, or form that Netherlands doesn't go through at this point. But Poland's at least given a good account of themselves. Move down. Yeah, the Austria-Bosnia group and Romania is pretty exciting.
Yeah, and I think all of them still play each other. Bosnia plays Romania and Austria plays Bosnia.
So there's everything to play for in that group. So that's exciting.
And there's one other team in that group that can still advance to the playoff.
Which is absolutely absurd. But
the mighty San Marino.
I actually don't mind this.
I don't like it. And because it's as you're about to mention Norway and Italy's group. Moldova is the exact same way, as is Israel. All 3 of these teams can still qualify to the playoff based on their Nations League ranking. For reference, though, San Marino has played 7 matches. They have 1 goal for, 32 goals against, 7 losses. There's no reason they should advance based on the Nations League happenings. Moldova has a minus 22 goal difference. They've managed one draw, so they do have a point. But it's been I don't like it.
I don't like it either, except for the fact that we have an expanded World Cup and we kind of just said fuck it, right? So if you're gonna throw in an extra, oh my God, my math is failing me right now. 12 teams into the World Cup. Why not? Right? Why not? Why not just say screw it? We'll give San Marino a playoff chance. Fuck it. Like I honestly think it's kind of crazy that the top group or the group winners of Nation League D get an automatic pass into the playoff. You know what I mean? I understand it from.
I get it from like A, and
when you're looking at it like from a merit-based thing, I guess they did win their Nations League group, and that's all they could do. But at the end of the day, I think it should literally be qualifying. You know what I mean? Like it used to be. But again, if we're just saying screw it, 48 team World Cup, let's do it, more teams involved, then why? If it just why not? Right? Just throw them a bone. Who gives a shit? They're gonna lose anyway. Like
yeah, that is valid.
Like whoever gets them in their little section,
they're just gonna be happy.
Yeah, it's an easy match right there. One of those that would be in March, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
It's crazy that I still just random thought here. We're having the World Cup draw, and we're gonna have the 2 intercontinental playoff teams not decided, and then the European playoffs. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, do we have? Oh yeah, we'll have the other African team decided by then, but
we'll
touch on that in a second.
Yeah. But I mean, coming back to this.
Oh yeah, they still go to the playoff. You're right.
What's up?
Yeah, you're right. They still go to that qualifies for the playoff.
Yeah, dude, they have a gauntlet of a way the rest of the way. But yeah, it's tough. But yeah, going back to this, interesting to point out, Norway has been absolutely lighting it up. There was a lot of talk with Israel. Like there was a lot going on with that in that group. So there are a whole different kind of dynamics in this group. But Norway and Italy look to be the ones. And I bet you Norway gets it done based on goal difference because that is absolutely absurd as well.
Yeah.
So there's no way Italy catches that. And then yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, you mean you don't see Italy beating Moldova the same way Norway did?
There's just no way. They have to make up 16 goals. And
they don't have an Erling Haaland who can bag 5, and then I mean, even in that match, Asgard put 4 away himself.
Yeah, and so that happens, and then you have to go and play Norway on the final day. And Norway's playing Estonia, so I bet you they win that.
Yeah.
There's just no way they make up that kind of ground. So it's kind of like Netherlands Poland situation to me. I think they're already in. Agreed.
And good on Norway.
Yeah.
Honestly, last time they made the World Cup was 98, made it to the round of 16. Before that, they made it 94 when it was in the US, and then 38 in the 3rd ever World Cup in France.
Yeah. No, it's about time, especially considering the player quality they have. Anything else interesting? I guess the North Macedonia situation is yet another interesting one because we all remember what happens when they're in the playoff last time around.
That is true.
Italy remembers far too well.
Yes, they do. And I mean, I think Belgium has that group wrapped up.
Oh, 100%. But if North Macedonia gets themselves into the playoffs, how many nations' heartbeats just go boom, 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 boom? The nerves ramp up because all it takes is a 90-plus minute counterattack wonder goal, and Italy's out of the World Cup again.
Yep. God, wouldn't that be funny? They miss out for a 4th or a 3rd straight World Cup.
Dude, they are. And I'll give Gattuso props. Ever since he's come in as manager, it's been 4 wins from 4. Italy's looked pretty good.
Yeah.
But I just don't think they're going to make the World Cup. And going the playoff route can always leave you vulnerable. Because A, you don't know who you're going to get in your group. And B, it can leave you vulnerable to just one bad mistake like what happened last time. It wasn't even a mistake. It was kind of just a fluky goal. But that's all it takes. So if Italy doesn't make it again, there will be absolute rioting.
Yes, there will be.
Yep. Absolute rioting.
And I just want to shout out one more team who's kind of surprising everybody in Group L, Faroe Islands. Who'd have thought? They have a tough task. ahead of them. They play Croatia on the final day or in their final match. Meanwhile, Czech Republic, who's a point ahead of them, plays Gibraltar. Doesn't look good for them to qualify into the playoffs, but they put together a hell of a run for a nation of what?
Not a lot. It is small enough that basically everyone.
A nation of 54, I'll say 55,000 people.
So this would by far be the smallest team to ever make it to the World
Yes.
Cup. If by some miracle Croatia throws a game and Gibraltar goes crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Gibraltar, last time they played the Czech Republic, lost 4-0. So
Yeah.
wouldn't get my hopes up there, but I think that kind of wraps it up for Europe. It's all pretty straightforward. We have one more match week to decide the other 11 teams that automatically qualify before we go to the playoff and see 4 more teams qualify.
Mm-hmm.
Moving along, the other big one this week was the African qualifiers, where we have now seen the group stage finish, and all 10 teams have qualified. Or is it 9 teams? Yeah, it's 9 teams have qualified. We have our 4 teams for the second round, which consists of Nigeria against Gabon, Cameroon versus the DR Congo. Winner of the 2 semis plays in the final. Winner goes, as Jackson mentioned earlier, to the Interconfederation playoff. But looking at the other at the group stages, I think there's one thing that really stands out above everything else.
Yeah.
Cape Verde, I think.
I was going to make a stupid joke, but
whoa. Go ahead.
I was going to say friggin' Ivory Coast because it's been since 2014 and I like ripping on them. But
that is true. South Africa's first time since 2010 qualified.
Cape Verde is now the second smallest nation to ever qualify for the World Cup, only being beaten by the mighty Iceland. So Cape Verde, fair enough. It's a small island state that wasn't even populated until the Portuguese came around. Yeah. And then now they're drawing from their large diaspora that covers, I think it was like 13 or 15 different countries where they're getting their players from. You have Ireland, you've got obviously Portugal. I know you've got some France in there, guys playing in Cyprus. You got players from all over the place, and they came and they want to look. I know people are criticizing the World Cup format for expanding and teams like Cape Verde not getting in. In a normal year, Cape Verde would still get in. I think they are fine. They made the quarterfinals of the most recent AFCON. Now, granted, they didn't qualify for the upcoming one, which is absurd. South Africa did the same thing. But they won their group with Cameroon in it. It's not like they had Cupcake Express the whole way. They had Cameroon, a team that's been to, 5 of the last 8? Something
crazy like that.
Something very impressive. Cameroon is known as a powerhouse in Africa with, I think, arguably the best player to ever come out of that continent, Samuel Eto'o. So it's not like they had a cakewalk. They did this, and they did this legitimately. And it was pretty awesome to see. I was watching the game the other day. It was really cool. Just throwing this out there for people. ESPN had a 4-screen CAF qualifying watch mode that I had ripping for a bit, and it was absolutely electric. But yeah, seeing the celebrations in Cape Verde and then reading articles of journalists who were down there and hearing the stories, it really is truly the story of World Cup qualifying so far. And I think the only nation that could oust them is a CONCACAF nation, which we'll cover here in a sec. Mm-hmm. But this was a really, really cool story and really cool thing to see. And I'm pretty hyped to see Cape Verde make it to the World Cup. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's a population of roughly like 550,000 people. And it's not just good for the team to be there and the players, but the whole country is now put on the map. And fair play to them. And I think their 3rd or 4th match of this group stage, they lost 4-1 to Cameroon. Mm-hmm. Absolutely dominated. They fought deep, managed to beat Cameroon 1-0, and have now qualified for the World Cup. Fair play to them. Otherwise, it's a lot of the big names have qualified once again. Tunisia is back in the World Cup. Algeria. You mentioned Ivory Coast, who's been back for the first time since 2014. World Cup semifinalist Morocco qualified with a perfect record, only conceded 2 goals in their 8 matches, dominated everybody. Senegal got the job done as well as to be expected, and Egypt, along with Mo Salah, got it done. So those are your 9 teams who have qualified. South Africa, that was a thrilling final day. They ended up edging out Nigeria and Benin, both who finished with 17 points to South Africa's 18 to advance to the World Cup. Looking at that playoff, the second round, what are you expecting? Like, I know it's a month out, but what's your prediction into that one?
This is tough. Gabon has looked the best out of any team.
Aubameyang has found a resurgence.
Yeah, no, he missed their last game because he had a red card, but they still won. Gabon has looked fantastic, right? So you can't throw them out. I think they probably, just based on form, have to be considered the favorite. But then in that same group, you have Nigeria and Cameroon. These are 2 African stalwarts of the World Cup. You think Africa, you think Nigeria and Cameroon at the World Cup, right? Like, especially like our generation growing up, it's those 2 in Ghana are probably the ones we all think about the most. So you can't throw any of them out, right? Like, we all know the kind of talent that these nations have. And then DR Congo is a fun one as well. They actually did pretty well in their qualifying group as well. They only missed out on the final day by 2 points. So they were right there as well. If I have to predict who I think, I'm going to go with form and go Gabon. And I feel like they feel really confident. I've liked what I've seen from them. Like, I haven't seen every single game, but from the games I've watched and the highlights I've watched, Gabon looks pretty good. And they have good players on that team too. That, I mean, obviously you say Aubameyang, but they also have Mario Lemina. Yeah. Mario Lemina is quite the player. He's 32 years old, still playing in Europe. They've got some – Dennis Bouanga, by the way. I know he plays in the MLS, but that boy can dribble. He is an unbelievable attacker. Like, they've got good players on this team. They're in form, and I feel like they have this kind of sense of belief. And Cameroon and Nigeria are definitely going to be disappointed with not already qualifying. That I wonder if that carries into this, whereas Gabon sees this more as an opportunity, while Cameroon and Nigeria look at this more as an opportunity to not be embarrassed.
Yeah, and I mean – Gabon was very close to getting through. It really came down to the final day as well in this group. For anyone who doesn't follow African football, you are missing out on some of the most entertaining stuff. We have the African Cup of Nations coming up in January.
Awesome appetizer for the World Cup.
It is one of the best tournaments out there for just not only, as Jackson's mentioned, there's so many talented players in Africa. Premier League stars, Bundesliga, the Serie A, all these European stars who are from these African countries. But it's also, you never know what you're going to see. The last one, a ref blew the whistle 5 minutes before the end of the match. Yeah. Fans yelled at him. Teams yelled at him. He said, we'll play on another 5 minutes, and then didn't give any stoppage time and called it. You have fans running on the field, laser pointers. It's pure chaos at its finest, but it's also great football.
Mm-hmm. No, it really
very,
is.
very fun. But yeah, I'm leaning to a team that I think has the best player and can be the most clinical, and that's Nigeria and Victor Osimhen. The way he stepped up, because Nigeria had looked iffy. It was questionable if they were even going to advance, but against Benin on the final day, he stepped up, bagged himself a hat trick, and it kind of gave this Nigerian side a sense of, okay, let's get cooking again. We've got this. We can make a move. I do think the winner of that one advances, but I'm leaning Nigeria in this sense.
That's fair. And that's, again, a very reasonable take to make, because when you look at the quality of the squads, it's got to be Nigeria, right? Yeah. When you just look at it. And I'd honestly say that for all of Africa, bar maybe a Morocco, which has some insane players.
Morocco's got a bowling team.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I think Nigeria, if you just look at the pure quality of players who are not just on the national team, but are eligible to play for them, I think Nigeria might take it over Senegal and some of these other countries as well.
Yeah.
So,
it's going to be very exciting and very fun to watch. So don't want to miss any of that. Moving forward, unless you have anything else to say on Africa.
Nah, we can move on.
This one will be relatively quick, but the Asian World Cup qualifiers. We've added 2 more teams who have qualified now in Qatar and Saudi Arabia, as they both won their groups of the second round. This leaves us with a spot with 2 teams vying for a spot in the Interconfederation playoff. The UAE, United Arab Emirates, takes on Iraq. Winner of that goes to the playoff. From the group stage or the playoff matchup, what are you thinking in as far as Asia goes?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say I think it's complete horseshit that both Qatar and Saudi Arabia got to host when it wasn't based on merit. It was based purely on money. But that's just my thoughts on this. You want to make it really fair, do it somewhere neutral, put it in friggin' China, make everyone travel. But this is soccer. This is football we're talking about. That's not how it works. I understand. So those 2 go through. And now looking at this UAE Iraq game, this is going to be interesting. I find this interesting, but in this most recent window, UAE, their players are entirely from the United Arab Emirates. And what I mean is they play their football in the UAE. None of them play outside. I think in their national team pool of players recently called up, they only have like 2 that play outside of the UAE. And people might look at this and be like, oh, so they're trash. What this actually means is they play with each other and see each other all the time. Like we saw this with Saudi Arabia at the last World Cup. When most of your players play in your home nation, sure, maybe it's not as strong and as flashy as playing in Europe or South America, but it means you've got some pretty good team cohesion. And then
they know how to play with each other. And it's also it goes to the international level. It's the self-belief of, all right, we're representing the same country. We all play in this country. It's all this stuff. So brings down to the expectation of doing well.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say Iraq can't go and win this, by the way. I think they've actually looked pretty good in qualifying. They barely didn't get through initially in the third round. They missed out by a point to Jordan. And then you look at how they did in Group B, which they had to go to Saudi Arabia. They barely missed out. Like, they were right there. They missed out on goal difference. Right, it was goals for, actually, that they missed out. Yeah. They had the same goal difference, which, again, is I still think you reward the defense, but this is Asia, whatever. So I could definitely see Iraq winning this. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that they could do this. I think the first leg is going to be at the UAE, and the return leg is in Iraq, which would make a difference. But I think I'm right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. When you look at UAE and how they performed and the fact that everyone plays in the UAE, I'm going to back the UAE. And again, this is kind of a crapshoot at this point. They both basically performed the exact same in qualifying, 15 points each in group or in the third round. And then they both barely just missed out in the fourth round. So I'm going to give it to UAE, but I think this is going to be very close and very exciting.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am leaning the UAE as well, solely because of kind of the points you've already made. It's the cohesion, and all these players know how to play with each other, know each other's skills and weaknesses. So there's that. But not a surprise, honestly, that Saudi Arabia and Qatar advanced in this most recent qualifying period. It was to be expected, and it's first time Qatar's actually ever qualified for a World Cup. Hasn't been the host and gotten in. So
yeah, they were really good as a host last time, so I'm sure we'll see a lot of the same.
Oh, I know. I can't imagine. We'll see if any of their fans are allowed to come to the U.S. at this point.
Dude,
that's a whole nother conversation for
There's
a
lot going on with
that. But anything else on Asia? I think it was all pretty relatively straightforward.
Yeah, no, I mean, at this point, everyone who qualified was playing friendlies. We had this nonsense going on, and then Qatar and Saudi Arabia through, and now we got one more window for someone to go to the Interconfederation playoffs. So.
Yes, we do. But before we touch on anything else, we are going to look at the local one in CONCACAF World Cup qualifying, which is, you mentioned it earlier, Cape Verde has been the story of the World Cup qualifying, is the huge shock team that's made it. There is a team And I wouldn't say maybe 2 teams that could potentially put them on the back burners. And I'll let you take over for CONCACAF.
The team that I mentioned earlier that we have to bring up is Curacao. For those who don't know, Curacao has a population of 155,000 people. That is smaller than the Reno, Nevada metropolitan area, about 4 times smaller. Let that sink in. And this nation is 1 point back from first place in their group right now. We're right there. They're right there. They are right there. They've been playing pretty well. I think they got a little unfortunate. But Curacao, for those who don't know, used to be part of Netherlands Antilles. And that means they have a lot of Dutch-born players that are eligible to play for them. And they are drawing from that heavily.
Oh, yes, they are.
Heavily. And I would too. And their national team, has gotten a lot better because of that. Like, you look at where their players are playing exclusively overseas. I think Eloy Room is the only one who's not playing overseas, and that's because he doesn't have a club right now. Oh, I guess Jurgen Locadia too, but those are Jurgen Locadia played. Where did he play? He played for Brighton for 4 years. He's also a doc. Like, they've got good players. Curacao has got a good team, and they're showing it because looking at it on paper, Jamaica should walk this group. They're in a group. It's kind of fun. It's an all Caribbean Group B of this qualifying round. Bermuda, they're just happy to be there. They're already out. They're happy to be included. And then Trinidad, Tobago, Curacao, and Jamaica are all still vying for the automatic spot and then maybe a potential second place spot. And right now, it's Jamaica with 9 points, Curacao with 8, Trinidad and Tobago with 5. And Trinidad and Curacao ended up tying the other night 1-1, which Curacao had that. But Curacao is on track to at least get second place, and then that puts them in the Interconfederation playoffs. So we could see a nation with only 155,000 people qualify for the World Cup if they continue doing what they're doing. And I think, who do they have left to play?
They go to Bermuda and then to Jamaica, where Trinidad and Tobago host Jamaica and host Bermuda.
Jamaica, that final day could be the decider because I back.
Yes, it could be.
I back both those teams to win.
But at the same time, it's if Trinidad and Tobago come out and beat Jamaica and Curacao beats Bermuda, because I completely believe that Trinidad and Tobago could get it done at home.
No, they could.
It is all going to come down, like you said, to that final day, though.
Yeah, this is the group that is definitely the most interesting to watch. Which is crazy to say because I feel like every group's been interesting to watch. There's not really like a runaway dominant team because the 3 teams that you'd expect to do that are already qualified as hosts.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a lot of madness. And yeah, it really might come down to that final day. And if, like you said, Trinidad beats Jamaica, that changes everything heading into the final day. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Oh, absolutely. And the other one that I've been looking at it's been very entertaining is Group A, which is Suriname, Panama, Guatemala, and El Salvador. El Salvador is kind of on the back burner, only have 3 points through 4 matches. Suriname and Panama both have 6 points each. Guatemala has 5. And currently Suriname sits atop of the group with one more goal scored than their Panamanian rivals. And it was almost a big point swing. Yes, the other day, Panama scored a 96th minute equalizer against Suriname to steal a point. Otherwise, Suriname would kind of be pulling away with this group a bit. They'd have a 3-point lead with 2 matches left. Both Panama and Suriname play Guatemala and El Salvador in the final 2 matches. But this is another fun one. Suriname has never qualified for a World Cup. They're not that big of a country either. I think it's definitely bigger than some of these other ones that we've talked about, like especially Curacao, but it's roughly 630 million. It's just impressive seeing some of these other countries do it. But
and also another former Dutch colony. The 2 former Dutch colonies are doing pretty well. Yeah. They're doing pretty well. I was looking at Suriname's roster as well. I think one person on two. They had 2 who played in Suriname for a team called Robin Hood. Everyone else playing overseas in Europe, Saudi Arabia. It looks like, UAE. Yeah, all over the place, but a lot of Dutch influence as well.
Yeah, very much so. And that's kind of what happens in these types of countries that are don't have their own real like they do have a league in Suriname, but it looks like it was formed in 2024.
Yeah.
So very,
Yeah.
very new. And that's also why majority of these players play elsewhere.
Yeah. And again, when you're a former colony, you can draw on those players. We're seeing
Yeah.
Jamaica do it with
Oh my
the
god, the
English
amount of
ones.
English players on Jamaica
I know,
or
which
players playing in England.
it's interesting because their best player might actually be Jamaican born,
Yeah.
but everyone else, for the most part, they could have. In an alternate universe, they could have had Raheem Sterling because he was born and raised there.
Yeah, they could have.
Like, there are a lot of good Jamaican players out there as well. And that's why I'm not going to be shocked when they ultimately qualify for the World Cup.
No, me neither. I do think that they are the favorites to qualify. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if we get to see Leon Bailey or Mikel Antonio appear back, but
Leon Bailey
I think there's too many political issues with those two for them to
Yeah,
make a
Leon
return to the team.
Bailey, he has such a weird relationship with the Jamaican national team. And Mikhail Antonio obviously is coming back from really bad injury. He was actually at the last national team camp.
Okay.
So he is still involved. And if they make the
All right.
World Cup, he'll definitely show up. But Leon Bailey and the Jamaican FA is a match made in hell. They do not vibe at all. And it honestly, I think a lot of the administrative issues hold them back from being as good as they could truly be. I think Leon Bailey has some valid concerns, but at the same time, it's also your nation during World Cup qualifying. Grow up. I don't know. My thoughts.
Yeah, and I mean, then there's the last group, which it's kind of I wouldn't say it's surprising that Honduras is leading it, but with Costa Rica and Haiti right behind, but it just seems uneventful comparatively to the other two.
Yeah, it does. Haiti was actually leading the group heading into this this most recent match day. Costa Rica is not the same Costa Rica
They weren't.
Keylor Navas is 38 years old.
It's still balling though.
Still balling, which is ridiculous. So I wouldn't be shocked at all to see Honduras win this group, to be honest. Either Honduras or Costa Rica. I don't see any path forward for Haiti, although they do play both teams at home, so maybe some kind of miracle. Johnny Placide could be insane in goal, and they get some counterattacking goals. But let's see. Honduras is the favorite. They play at Nicaragua, and then they're playing Costa Rica on the final day, which could be the decider. So this could be another group that comes down to the final day. But looking at it, I got to take Honduras at this point. I think they'll get it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Any other thoughts? International, or I guess I did have one question before because we've talked all about these small countries and the format and all that. Do you like the new format and what it's giving for qualifying? Okay.
I don't, because I think it's the dumbest argument. They're like, oh, more teams can participate in the World Cup. This is the World Cup. The World Cup qualifying is participating in the World Cup.
Yep.
It's not like, let's think about another sport that's looking at expansion. College football playoff and college basketball March Madness tournament. The difference is you're seeing more teams actually join the FBS level and then college basketball Division I level. Yes. So I understand that aspect of expanding it. I don't think it'll be more representative of the teams that join. I still think it's a mess, but I understand at that point. Like, that's a natural progression. There's no natural progression here. It's the same amount of nations, bar maybe randomly two will suddenly appear out of nowhere due to some civil war somewhere, and then maybe a couple disappear at some point. That's going to happen. But like, for the most part, you have a set number of teams. Like, you relatively know how many nations they're going to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's really no need to expand except for more games and more money, which from a fan perspective might seem great because you get more games. But you're also probably going to see a nation like Jordan get absolutely walked.
I was about to say, I'm looking at just the teams who've qualified. You have a team like Uzbekistan, Jordan, and I'll throw Cape Verde in there. Cape Verde comes up and gets drawn against England or Argentina or Brazil.
Portugal. Let's throw in there
Portugal.
Yeah.
even, I'll say even to a lesser extent, even a team like South Korea or Japan or something, they're getting mollywopped.
Yeah.
It's going to be 7-8-0, and it's just going to be an embarrassment for that team.
And I will say, even with the old format, Jordan and Uzbekistan would have qualified.
They would have.
So fair play to them. But when you're looking at the dilution of teams and all these extra, you're going to get 12 extra teams, right? And those 12 extra teams, realistically, at least half of them are going to just be set up to get baseball batted to the back of the head by every single team that they play.
Yep.
I just think it's a stupid money grab, and we'll see what happens. But it was kind of like the expansion of the Women's World Cup. And I understand why we did it for parity, but the reality with the Women's World Cup and women's soccer is that a lot of nations are still developing their female national teams and their setups for girls, which is good. It gets exposure, but we saw that drop in quality with some of the teams that were playing. And I expect you'd see some of that here, where it's a great story. We're going to see lots of articles in the New York Times and ESPN about these small nations that have qualified, what it means to them. It's great. It's awesome. Kumbaya, all that bullshit. But realistically, on the field, I bet you're going to see some absolute embarrassing performances from some of these teams.
I'm thinking back to, what was it? God, was it 2010 when North Korea qualified? Was it? Yeah, and they lost 7-0 to Portugal or something ridiculous like that. I think we're going to see a lot more of that, because just looking at just the number of teams that qualify from each region for the last World Cup and then for this one. For this World Cup, Asia gets 8 teams, Africa gets 9 teams. The last World Cup, Asia got 4 + 1, so they ended up with 4 and then a playoff team. Africa got 5. So we're already adding another 8 teams from those 2 nations or 2 confederations.
Yeah.
CONCACAF is getting a third or 3 more. They usually get 3 teams.
3 + 1, yeah.
Yeah, 3 + 1. Now they're getting 3 and 3, just mostly because of the hosts.
Which is still stupid, but
South America was getting 4 or 5 + 1. They're getting 6 + 1 this year. Oceania actually gets 1 and then gets a playoff team this year. They usually only get a playoff team. And then Europe would get 13 teams in the past World Cup and get 16 this year.
Yeah. That's so stupid.
I still don't see anybody outside of either Europe or South America winning the World Cup.
No.
That's just
I could see someone making a run. Like it was a tournament in the Middle East, so we saw a nation from the Arabic world make it to the semis. So that was pretty cool. Like I could see something like that happening, where maybe a CONCACAF team goes crazy, or an Asian team. Japan would probably be the most likely because they're looking pretty good right now. But yeah, in terms of actually winning it, we all know that it's always 2 confederations. It's just the reality of it. No one has been able to break that seal yet.
No.
And I don't think it'll happen this time. I don't see any nation from Africa, from Asia, from CONCACAF. I don't see any of them.
Hear me out. I do just want to throw one more team out there who's already just as pure chaos. Give me New Caledonia in the interconfederation play.
I what is it? They're probably going to play away anyway. Is it a 2-leg or is it just a 1 game, right?
I think it's 1 and 1. Oh, I think it's just 1-off games. Yeah, it's 2 single elimination matches and then a final against the seeded team.
So the question is, will New Caledonia host?
No, they're being hosted in Guadalajara and Monterrey.
So yeah, no, they're fucked anyway. All right, well, yeah, no, they're screwed anyway. Their only hope was if it was in New Caledonia and someone had to travel all the way across the world for that. But yeah, they're
worse. Imagine New Caledonia having to travel to Bolivia.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that they wouldn't be able to last 20 minutes with that elevation.
No, they would not.
They'd have to do some insane elevation training before, because they are, believe it or not, right at sea level. So they would have to maybe spend a week or 2 weeks in Denver or something.
Yeah. But moving on from that, it's not the best of lineups. I think that's what we could say. There is a clear one, though, that we do have for match of the week, and that is Liverpool hosting our Man United in that
Mhm.
famous rivalry. What are you expecting? Liverpool currently sits second in the table. For some reason, I guess Arsenal's not second this time around, but
Dude, it's wild. I don't expect it to last. Don't worry, I'm not delusional. But
yeah.
yeah.
And then Man U sitting 10th at the moment. So what are you kind of looking for in this one?
So this one's going to be interesting. You obviously both managers have had some time to prepare for this because of the international break, but it's at Anfield. And for that reason, I'm just gonna come out and say I think Liverpool already has a better team. They already have a better manager, so I'm fully backing them to win this. But it's not like it's a complete confidence thing like I've had.
Yeah.
Liverpool are kind of in shambles right now. They needed that international break to get things set because they were on a 3-match slide before that. When you're looking at Premier League, Champions League, 3-match slide. And it was kind of bound to happen because when we look at some of the performances, they weren't great performances. They were barely winning. They were relying on 80th plus minute goals
Mm-hmm.
to get them through. I was like their first 6 games, like
Yeah.
they were struggling to get by. This is what happens. Like there's a lot of overhaul in the squad, a lot of good players, but there's just a lot of overhaul. So it's not that surprising. So honestly, Man U should look at this as an opportunity.
Yes.
Like if you're ever going to play at Anfield, now is the time to do it. You got to win heading into international break. You can try to take that momentum. I know it's been some time off, but take that momentum and see what you can do. But again, I still think Liverpool's got the better side. They're at home. I don't really see them losing this game, but I'm not as confident as I was heading into the year where I was like, oh, Liverpool's about to walk over everyone in the competition. Players like Florian Wirtz have been invisible. Alexander Isak is taking time to adapt to a league that he's already been in for years, which is wild. You very rarely see someone need time to adapt when they go from one team in the same league to another. But
yeah, he's still yet to score a goal in the Premier League this season.
Keep playing Ekitike, man. He's the one. Just all I got to say. He's the one. But you've seen some of these guys not really do what you'd expect them to do. So Man U's got a shot. I think it'll be an interesting game, but Liverpool gets 2 in the second half that bury it, and I'm going 3-1 final.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just think there's too much talent on this Liverpool team, and I do think that they got the break at the right time for this. Meanwhile, Man U, I just looking at their lineup, I don't trust it. Don't trust it one bit. And it's like they haven't really, I guess, morale thing for them is they beat Chelsea not that long ago. Chelsea then beat Liverpool. So
yeah,
thinking that, but at Anfield is a completely different beast. And I think this will be a Mo Salah performance. He's been not quiet this season, but by his standards,
not as good as last year.
Yes, he's been relatively quiet. He only has 2 goals. Does he have any? He's got 2 assists, 2 goals. I think this is one where he starts to turn things around because he played pretty well with Egypt, I believe, but
he did.
At least in the one, yeah, and they're friendly. So I would expect this to be I'm going 2-0 for Liverpool. I do think I think their defense is far better than Man U's attack, and I think Man U's attack is going to struggle against that back line.
No, that's fair.
Moving on to some others, we've been doing a lot of talks about the top of the table in the last couple episodes. This is would be just repetitive. So we're going to look at the bottom half because there's 2 matches between teams in the bottom 6. We will start with West Ham and Brentford. The Hammers are hosting the Bees, and this is one that West Ham needs something. They've managed 4 points this season. They have a -10 goal difference. Brentford's not much better. They have 7 points and a -3 goal difference, but Brentford's at least looked competitive in matches. West Ham has looked absolutely dreadful in virtually every single match. It's a miracle I think they even won a match, and that surprisingly came against Forest in a 3-0 drubbing, but
yeah,
they're not scoring very often. I believe that they were one of the ones who sacked their manager, weren't they?
Who?
West Ham. Or have they not sacked him yet?
I don't think they've sacked him yet.
Okay.
Oh, they did. I'm an idiot. Of course they sacked him. Sacked him a while ago. They got Nuno now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was tweaking out. I was
Yeah.
thinking. Oh yeah, no,
What?
they've got Nuno now.
Yeah, Nuno hasn't really done much for them so far since he's been. I think he only has the 2 matches under his
Yeah,
belt.
one of
But
which was Arsenal.
yeah,
So like in
so
his
this
defense,
is, and I guess off that note, I'm curious to see how he's worked with the team over this international break because
yeah,
I know some West Ham players are internationals, but a lot of them aren't.
yeah. Well, I do think Nuno does really well with these types of sides. We've seen the success he had with Wolves, and then Forest were kind of similar situations. So I'm actually backing him to get things going, and I think this break will have done them some wonders. And the fact that they're at home kind of feels like a reset after international windows. I'm going West Ham this game. I think it's a gross 1-0 victory.
Okay.
But I just still am not there with Brentford. I'm not there with West Ham either. I've been shit on them since the beginning. But I do like Nuno as a manager. And I think he does really well in these kinds of situations. And we're not on the training grounds, right? We don't know what's happening. We don't have that kind of journalistic access. But I assume that they've done some good work and have fully prepared for this. I'm backing West Ham to win 1-0.
Okay. I'm actually going the other way because I like what I've seen from Brentford against good teams. I guess they've let it down a bit against the likes of Sunderland, Fulham. They dropped points against, but then they beat Aston Villa, who it was early in the season. Aston Villa, so thought expectations more. Bournemouth they beat, who's in the top 5 or 6. Beat Man U comfortably. Barely lost to Man City, and I think this is one that they need to win because they have Liverpool next weekend, and that's obviously I would chalk that one off as a loss. So.
Yeah.
I do think that Brentford, despite everyone they've lost this year, is kind of chugging along at a okay rate. They're by no means anything special.
Yeah, that's for
but
sure.
Igor Thiago with 4 goals has looked relatively good since coming over this summer. Or was he there last? Oh, he was there last season, but he was the bench guy. So since he's moved into his starting role, he's looked much better. Jordan Henderson has added a little bit of consistency in that midfield as well. But it's one that I just think West Ham's that bad. I'm taking Brentford 1-0.
Fair enough.
And the other one in the relegation zone, Leeds going to Burnley, 2 newly promoted sides. I don't really know what to expect to this one. Burnley has been absolutely dreadful as of late. They have lost their last 3 and really 5 of their last 6, but that only other one was a draw. They've beaten one team in the Premier League this season. That was newly promoted Sunderland in the second match of the season. We've seen what Sunderland's turned around and done. Yeah. Burnley is bad.
Yeah.
Burnley is very, very bad. Not saying that Leeds is much better, but Leeds has at least shown consistency and really could have beaten Tottenham in their last match before the international break. A couple unfortunate bounces, and the biggest issue is Leeds just don't take advantage of their chances one bit. So if Leeds can take advantage of their chances against a Burnley team, I can see this one being a little ugly, but I want to get your thoughts on this match as well.
I've liked what I've seen more from Leeds and Burnley. That's a very easy, simple comment to make when you just look at results, you look at the table. But I've actually seen some stuff from Leeds where I'm like, okay, get unfortunate with a late minute concession here, stuff like that. I've been more pleased and more optimistic with what I've seen. They scored 7 goals, same amount as Burnley, but defensively they haven't looked as shambolic. And they've always looked to me more like they have a shot at winning than Burnley, which Burnley looks like the kind of team that goes up just to go right back down this year.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm getting early on. And maybe Leeds will end up being in that same boat, right? It's still early.
Well. Yeah, very well could be.
But I think in this game, I'm backing Leeds. I think they're the better team. I don't think Burnley's cut out for this. Whereas I think Leeds could give it a solid run. And again, it really depends on the day. Burnley's actually showed up and played well in some games, and they're at home. At Turf Moor, it's different than on the road, right? So maybe, but I got to back Leeds. I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be some players who've been missing in the last couple of weeks for Leeds who will be back with injury. I know Ayo Tanaka, the midfielder, was playing with Japan in their thrilling comeback win over Brazil over the international break, so he'll be back for them. And it's one that it just comes down to who's going to lead the line and who's actually going to score for Leeds. I think it's as simple as that. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's just inconsistent, but I don't trust Bamford or Pirot
Bamford's
or
so
anyone else. Bamford, I can't believe he's still even technically on the roster.
it's actually insane, man. That
But
man's still around.
yeah. Well, anyway, I'm taking Leeds. I'm taking Leeds 2-0. I'm going to be a little confident this week.
Fair enough.
Moving on, unless you want to touch on the Palace Bournemouth game in depth, otherwise we just head to predictions.
We can go to predictions. I just find it nuts that Bamford still has an England cap to his name.
That just shows how good of a manager Marcelo Bielsa was.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
he got him a freaking England cap in 2021.
And I don't think he ended up scoring, but he came very close when he did play for England.
Yeah.
Which is just insane. Yeah, it makes no sense, but hey, fair play to him.
Yeah.
But moving on to the predictions part of the show, we'll start up top. Saturday morning, Nottingham Forest hosting Chelsea. I'm leaning Chelsea. And I'm leaning Chelsea 2-0.
Yeah, I got to go Chelsea in this as well. First of all, I think Forest made a massive mistake with how they treated Nuno and all that. It's going to take Ange at least 2 years until they do something relevant. That's how it works with him anyway. So I don't know what they're thinking with that. Give me Chelsea. Give me a comfortable 2-0 as well. I like that shout.
What do you think of Brighton hosting Newcastle? One of the longest away days. I think it might be the longest away day we have in the Premier League this season with Newcastle, the most northern team, heading to Brighton.
Is it like 5 hours?
Nah, probably.
Fucking British people, man. They have no idea. This one's actually interesting, just bar travel, right? Mm-hmm. Looking at how things are going right now, Brighton sitting with 9 points in 12th, and Newcastle sitting right above them in 11th with 9 points. So, I mean, basically same start to the year. I think Newcastle's gotten unlucky. The Liverpool and Arsenal games in particular stand out as getting unlucky. So I still think they've got a quality side in there, and I'm backing them to take this. I think it'll be a good game, a close game, but I'm backing them 2-1. I still think they've got very good players, very good side. There's a reason they're in the Champions League. I'm backing them to get this one done. But Brighton's also a good team as well, who could very easily get all 3 points, especially at home. But I'm going 2-1 Newcastle.
Yeah, I like that shout. And I'm looking at it. The quickest way is 5 hours, 40-minute drive. But I would expect them to be flying to the South Coast.
I know you're going to see people complaining about it. And it's like, be fucking kidding me.
I mean, it's just one of those things that it's just so much traffic, and you can't, as I found when I was there, you can't drive over the speed limit because there's cameras everywhere. So 5.5 hours is 5.5 hours. It's not like here where sadly we can get 5.5 hours done in 4.5 hours or 45.
I got over to school, which is usually 3 hours and 45 minutes in about 3 hours. So you can shave some time off here in the U.S.
Yes, you can.
Nowhere. So.
But despite the long travels, I still think Newcastle's a better team, and I have them winning. I'm going 1-0 this week.
Yeah.
Already touched on Burnley Leeds, the one we were talking about. Crystal Palace hosting Bournemouth. Do the Eagles soar high at home, or do the Cherries go into Selhurst Park and get it done?
I'm backing Palace in this.
Oh.
They finally saw things not work out in their favor. They lost, which they had been on a pretty impressive unbeaten streak.
19 in a row?
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Who they even?
Everton. It was a 93rd minute winner by Jack Grealish.
That's what it was. The weird one. Yeah. So I'm still backing Palace. I think have all this positive momentum still. You might think that losing might have a detrimental effect, but then you have the international window to kind of reset, retool, refocus. So I like them more than I like Bournemouth. And the fact that it's at Palace makes me even more confident in the fact that I think they win this game 2-0.
Yeah. I like that shout. I think this is going to be a draw. I'd have it 1-1. I think Semenyo has just been so good this season.
Yeah, he's
And
been
he's one who I think could cause some trouble to that Palace back line. And meanwhile, Palace, it's just, as you said, they've been so strong all season. And with it being a back three that they've been playing as of late, it leaves gaps for Semenyo to get in and find Evan Nelson or vice versa. So I like 1-1 in this one. I do think with Semenyo scoring once again.
fair enough. He has been world class.
Yes, he has been. I think he's second in the Golden Boot race behind Erling Haaland, who we're about to talk about. And there's a Haaland score again against Everton this time.
It's hard to say no at this point, right? It's been goals with him. So I got to back it. It's Grealish's return to the Etihad, but I don't think it's a joyous return. I think City is clicking on all cylinders right now because their goal-scoring talisman is clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm going 3-0. I feel like it's actually kind of comprehensive. I think Everton's a very good side who have made serious steps with some of their signings, like Grealish. Mm-hmm. But I think City is just playing so well, and I think Haaland gets himself too.
I like that shout. They've just been so good, and Haaland has been on fire. I don't know if he actually scored against New Zealand. No, but I also don't know if he played against New Zealand. So
yeah,
I wouldn't imagine he did. Yeah, he didn't play. So can't score if you don't play. That's the first match he hasn't been a goal scorer in, I think, this season. But like I said, didn't play. So he keeps bagging goals and goals and goal. Pardon?
Did they play Sorloth in that game? Completely random thought.
Let's see who they played.
I'm actually curious on that.
They started Strand Larson up top.
Got you.
Yep. But either way, he scored a hat trick against Israel. Erling Haaland is the most informed striker in the world right now, and I see him bagging 2 as well, and then winning like 3-0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Quick fire one. I think I know your pick. The Black Cats of Sunderland host the Wolves of Wolverhampton. But the Cats or Dogs get it done.
Yeah, no, not Wolves. Sunderland has been the story, I think, so far. Sitting in 9th place, they've actually looked pretty good. I think they get 3 points from this. Wolves are just we've talked about it. I just don't see any hope for them this year. I think this is their year to go back down. So give me Sunderland. Give me 2-0.
I'm taking the exact same thing as you for the exact same reasons, and that Wolves is absolute shite this year.
Yeah, they're bad.
Does Arsenal stay top against Fulham?
See, I want to say yes, but because of that, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say we tie 1-1. Like, you know what I mean? It's just how it works with being an Arsenal fan. Every time you have some kind of high expectations, you're just let down miserably. So give me a 1-1 draw. I think we deserve to win, but I think Fulham could easily get a draw at Craven Cottage.
I mean, Arsenal hasn't won at Craven Cottage in 3 years now.
This is why I say it's so hard to win there.
Yeah.
I've been saying that.
Oh, it is an impossible feat, but I do think Arsenal can get it done. And Saka looked really good in the first match of the international break for England. Looks a little less so against Latvia, but I like the fact that Arsenal's front three is kind of all back together, and they've had the international break, and no one got hurt that I know of. So I'm taking Arsenal, but I am taking it a last-minute 2-1 win.
Yeah, fair enough.
Tottenham hosting Aston Villa. Tottenham is another surprise team who's sitting 3rd at the moment. Aston Villa 13th. Mm-hmm. I like Tottenham in this one. They've just looked like they've been clicking this year for some reason, and don't know what it is, but they've looked much better than a lot of teams. But they've also played a lot of the bottom teams, which is my only concern. Aston Villa is still a bottom half team, so I'm taking Tottenham, taking them 1-0.
Yeah,
but
solid.
Curious to see what happens when Tottenham starts playing some of the big dogs.
Very solid reasoning. Mm-hmm. I will shout this out. Palace has won their last, or not Palace, excuse me. Villa has won their last 2. And they look like they're finally starting to build some momentum again, which could come into play. But I really like Thomas Frank as a manager. I thought he was a great signing for Tottenham. I think, like you said, he's got them clicking, and maybe it hasn't been against the best teams, but we say that, but they did beat Manchester City, you know? So they did have a good result in that one. I'm back in Tottenham in this as well. at home. Everything's clicking. I think Villa could get it done. But I think their positive momentum may have been slowed a bit by the international break as well.
Yeah.
Like it sets some things back. Like we talk about, it's a chance to reset and figure things out for teams. It also can slow your momentum down. And I think that's the case here as well. Give me Tottenham. Give me a 2-1 win. I think it's a good game, but Tottenham wins.
All right, there we have it. Well, Jackson, any final thoughts, comments, suggestions as far as the footballing world goes?
Yeah, maybe look at other leagues this weekend as well. We don't have too many exciting ones, so.
Yeah, I'm wondering what other big matches, if there are any other big ones around the world this upcoming weekend. Oh, you got mighty Inter Miami playing.
It is the final match day of the MLS regular season.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it could be some fireworks.
Yeah, I have not. Couldn't tell you how anyone's doing. I just know San Diego's still rolling.
San Diego's damn good. The earthquake sucked. That's all you need.
Oh, I guess the big game this weekend in international is Borussia Dortmund heading to Bayern Munich.
There you go. They're a Klassiker.
They're a Klassiker.
Yeah, see? No, there's always stuff. You just got to look.
Oh, absolutely. Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned Bundesliga match? Oh, and Roma, Inter.
Dude, there are always good games in Serie A. Just saying.
It is, because – and even if it's not, like, good teams, which Roma surprisingly is on fire this year, there's so many big-name teams, and anybody can beat anybody in that league.
There's a lot of parity, which makes it fun to follow. I've been following it a lot more, especially because it's been world-class, so that's been fun to watch.
Yeah, it's been fun. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We will see you guys next week. Enjoy the weekend.
Mm-hmm.